In international relations, new alliances can shift the global balance of power. Today, China and Iran are forging a partnership that's capturing the world's attention. This isn't sudden, it's the result of years of shared interests and strategic planning. As we move through 2025, their relationship is entering a pivotal phase with effects felt from Shanghai to Washington, D.C. This story is about power, oil, and a changing world order. China is stepping into the Middle East, not with military might, but with economic deals and diplomatic support. Iran, under pressure from sanctions, sees China as a vital ally and economic lifeline. We'll explore why China values Iran, the agreements binding them, and their cooperation in groups like the SCO and BRICS. Recent events such as China's response to Israeli attacks on Iran highlight the depth of this partnership. This alliance impacts not just the Middle East but also the United States, Russia, and the global economy. The China-Iran bond is a key chapter in the story of shifting global power. It affects oil prices, regional stability, and the balance between great nations. Understanding this partnership helps us grasp the forces shaping our future. Let's dive into the layers of this evolving relationship. China's interest in Iran is rooted in practical needs, especially energy. As the world's largest oil importer, China relies heavily on Middle Eastern supplies, and Iran's vast reserves make it a natural partner. Securing Iranian oil, even under sanctions, keeps China's economy running. But it's not just about oil. China wants regional stability to protect its economic interests. Any conflict in the Middle East could disrupt energy flows and harm China's growth. That's why China acts as a mediator, as seen in its role restoring ties between Saudi Arabia and Iran in 2023. Unlike the US, which uses military and political pressure, China offers investment and trade, key elements of its Belt and Road Initiative. For Iran, isolated by sanctions, China's partnership is a lifeline, offering markets, infrastructure, and global engagement. This relationship is pragmatic. China needs energy and stability, Iran needs economic support. China isn't exporting its political system or building a military alliance, it's forging economic ties and promoting a multipolar world. The partnership is built on mutual benefit and a shared desire to challenge Western dominance. By deepening economic links, both countries gain leverage and resilience. This approach is reshaping the Middle East's alliances. For China, Iran is a crucial piece in its global strategy. For Iran, China is a powerful friend in a hostile world. The heart of the China-Iran relationship is their 25-year comprehensive strategic partnership, signed in 2021. This agreement goes far beyond trade, covering economic, political, and security cooperation. China pledges billions in investment for Iranian energy, infrastructure, and technology, while Iran guarantees a steady, discounted oil supply. The pact integrates Iran into China's Belt and Road Initiative, deepening their economic interdependence. Politically, the agreement calls for closer coordination in international forums and mutual support against Western pressure. Security provisions include joint training, intelligence sharing, and military collaboration. For Iran, it's a shield against isolation. For China, it's a foothold in a region long dominated by the US. The pact signals a commitment to a new balance of power. It's a strategic bet on a future where Western influence is diminished. This agreement is the foundation of their evolving partnership. It's a clear message: Iran is not alone, and China is here to stay. The China-Iran partnership is reinforced through powerful international organizations. Both are now members of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, SCO, a bloc led by China and Russia. Iran's full SCO membership in 2023 broke its diplomatic isolation and gave it a seat at the table with major Asian powers. The SCO allows China, Russia, and Iran to coordinate on security and economic issues, challenging US influence. Iran's inclusion strengthens the SCO's reach into the Middle East, while giving Tehran a security umbrella. Iran's entry into BRICS in 2024 further deepens its ties with emerging economies. BRICS membership opens new markets and financial tools, reducing Iran's vulnerability to sanctions. These organizations promote trade in local currencies, bypassing the US dollar and weakening American leverage. Through the SCO and BRICS, China and Iran are building a multipolar world order. Their cooperation is moving from transactional to structural, aiming to reshape global governance. This institutional alignment is a critical pillar of their partnership. It's about creating new rules for the 21st century. Recent crises have tested the China-Iran partnership and revealed China's growing role in the Middle East. When Israeli strikes hit Iran in June 2025, China quickly called for restraint and respect for Iran's sovereignty. This wasn't just diplomatic language. It signaled China's commitment to regional stability and its support for Iran. China's response reassured Tehran and positioned Beijing as a responsible global power, contrasting with the US's interventionist approach. By advocating de-escalation, China presents itself as a mediator, building credibility as a stabilizing force. China's main concern is protecting its energy supplies and trade routes. The incident also highlighted coordination between China, Russia, and Iran, especially in international forums. Together, they shield Iran from harsher international measures. China's public stance, backed by Russia, sends a warning. Further escalation could have global consequences. This approach is reshaping the security architecture of the Middle East. China is now a key player in the region's stability. The China-Iran alliance is shifting the Middle East's balance of power. For decades, the US and its allies dominated the region, isolating Iran. Now China's partnership gives Iran economic resilience and confidence to pursue its agenda. Other regional powers are taking notice, diversifying their alliances to include Beijing. China's mediation between Saudi Arabia and Iran in 2023 showed its diplomatic clout. This new multipolar environment offers countries alternatives to Western dependency. China's strategy is to build economic ties across the region, promoting stability and protecting its interests. But as China's influence grows, so does the risk of rivalry with the US. The Middle East could become a stage for great power competition. The old certainties are fading, replaced by shifting alliances and unpredictable dynamics. The future balance of power is still being decided. Washington and Moscow view the China-Iran partnership through very different lenses. For the US, it's a strategic challenge that undermines decades of efforts to isolate Iran. Every oil deal and joint statement weakens American influence and sanctions. The US faces tough choices: pressure China and risk broader conflict, or try to exploit differences between China, Russia, and Iran. Washington knows China values stability, not conflict, and may use this to influence Beijing's approach to Iran. Russia, meanwhile, sees the partnership as a geopolitical win. The Ukraine war has made Iran a key military supplier to Moscow, deepening their ties. Russia supports the China-Iran alliance as a counterweight to US power in the Middle East. While China brings economic strength, Russia provides military and diplomatic backing, especially at the UN. Together, they form a bloc that shields Iran from Western pressure. But this isn't a formal alliance. Their interests overlap but aren't identical. Russia sometimes uses its Iran ties as leverage in its rivalry with the US. The dynamic is complex and constantly evolving. The China-Iran partnership is a new factor in global strategy. It's changing how both Washington and Moscow approach the Middle East. Iran's nuclear program remains a sensitive issue in its relationship with China and the world. The collapse of the 2015 nuclear deal has raised fears that Iran is edging closer to nuclear weapons capability. China opposes a nuclear-armed Iran, fearing regional instability that could threaten its energy interests. Yet China also rejects the West's approach, defending Iran in international forums and blocking harsh resolutions. Beijing blames the current crisis on the US withdrawal from the nuclear deal and subsequent sanctions. China and Russia call for a diplomatic solution, favoring terms more acceptable to Iran. This support gives Tehran leverage, reducing pressure to make concessions. As key provisions of the old deal expire, China and Russia may propose alternative inspection plans. The result is a diplomatic stalemate. The West demands rollback, while China and Russia insist on lifting sanctions first. China is balancing support for Iran with its own interest in regional stability. Behind the scenes, Beijing likely urges Tehran to avoid crossing red lines. China's goal is to keep the crisis contained, protecting both its partnership and the region's stability. It's a careful balancing act in a volatile environment. The China-Iran partnership isn't just a regional story. It has global consequences. It marks a shift from a US-dominated world to one with multiple centers of power. For the West, it challenges the effectiveness of sanctions and traditional foreign policy tools. For the Middle East and developing regions, it offers an alternative model of partnership, focused on economics, not politics. But it also brings risks, debt, entanglement in great power rivalries, and a new untested balance of power. The stability of global energy markets now depends on this evolving relationship. The price of oil, prospects for peace, and the nature of global power are all at stake. This partnership is a sign that the old rules are changing. Watching it unfold is essential to understanding the forces shaping the 21st century. the world is becoming more complex and multipolar. The China-Iran alliance is at the heart of this transformation.